Kelly is the betting favorite to be the next head coach
No.
on August 30th for Colorado.
No.
He actually has better odds than Dion.
No. Really?
Yeah. Jamie Chadwell
we'll
is
get
second.
To that in a second. I don't know if it was Jimbo or if it was Gundy who was like, "Don't tell me you're committed." Like commitment is like a marriage. Okay, don't tell me you're committed. Like
sometimes it's not.
Like
depends on who you're married
you got to
to.
be here. Like if you're telling me you're committed, don't say you're not committed and you're not married to us. You're married. Like if you're committed, you're coming here.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. It's so weird. It's so weird. I hate that. I can't stand that.
About commitment?
No. Well, that. And
you can't stand commitment?
No, I've never really committed in a while. Enough about me. The whole
951-1620.
Hey, this UCLA commit is visiting Nebraska. Like, then what the hell is the point of committing? Or this Nebraska commit is visiting Oregon.
Bo Pelini had it right. Just commit, sign right there.
Seriously. If you're in, you're in. Stupid.
You have a thought about Chip Kelly being the next head coach of Colorado?
I think he's just going to stay AOC at Ohio State.
I would.
Okay, so what's a worse situation, UCLA or Colorado?
Like right now? Like
what
Deion's
was the
gone,
worst?
right?
What was the worst? What was the worst of the situations? UCLA before Chip Kelly left, or going into Colorado?
Colorado was really bad.
Colorado bad.
Yeah. So why
awful.
would Chip Kelly leave UCLA and then because he just wants to coach football and he's done with the whole transfer portal and recruiting your own players and NIL, and then vault himself into that Colorado program where all he's going to have to deal with for the first couple months is guys leaving and recruiting your own guys and bringing guys in the portal and trying to build up a program that has no foundation, where Colorado's barely recruited any high school players over the last 2 years.
And yes, I'm just telling you, he is the betting favorite.
It makes no sense to me. I'm not saying that this is your statement. I know you're just stating
he's really going to coach the Cowboys.
Odds, but those odds make no sense to me. Dion to Cowboys?
That's
like,
really going to happen?
What do you think?
I wonder how real this is, because
I didn't think it was real, but I'm starting to change.
Because there's differing insights. Is it a smokescreen or is it real? But here's the thing: let's go. You guys can talk about the Cowboy. Jimmy can. That's your team. I'm not gonna. You can crap on them. It's okay. They deserve it. Your account better than us. But let's look at this from the Colorado's perspective.
Okay.
So there are so many leaks in this discussion, and there are agents that are trying to negotiate and grab leverage. That Dion wants more money from Colorado. He wants better NIL.
It's all set up for Chan Gailey.
The athletic director at Colorado is resisting. If I'm at Colorado, here's what I do. And I have been long on this, that Dion in his entire livelihood of coaching football has never not coached his kids.
Yes.
So Colorado without Shedeur and Travis is just Colorado. I don't care if they've got the show going. They all hat, no cattle. Okay. It's just like Caitlin Clark at Iowa. Take Caitlin Clark out of Iowa.
It's a great example.
Take Shedeur and Travis out of CU. But if I'm Colorado and I'm a fan and I say, hey, thank you for 2 years. You brought us a lot of attention. Last year we won 9 games. We got the Heisman Trophy winner.
It was fun.
We got a top pick at quarterback. That was a lot of fun. Thanks for the memes. We thought it would go a little bit longer, but we understand. I think if you're a Colorado fan, you're exhausted. You might have a little Dion fatigue because now he doesn't have his son. He doesn't have Travis, and you don't know what they're going to look like next year. They have an interesting roster. So they have some dudes, but they don't have the dudes. If you're a Colorado fan, you're like, okay, maybe it's time to move on because we're going to have to deal with this from here on out of maybe he'll go to the NFL. Maybe he'll go to another program. And you'll say, I'm committed to Colorado, but why is my name still attached with the Dallas Cowboys? So if I'm from the Colorado perspective, I'm like, hey, thanks for the memes. Time to hit the bricks. We got to move on and take control of our program again and take it back. But this is going to happen when he departs Colorado. Look at the gigantic hole at CU because of the operation that they had. So it would take somebody that would come in and go, I need a 10-year contract.
Yeah.
Because we have to completely turn around the program because I'm not Dion and I can't do the same things Dion did. And I don't know what I'm inheriting. So if I'm from the Colorado perspective, I'm like, just go and we thank you. And God, that was fun for 2 years. And if you're an athletic director, what is your tipping point of just every year we're going to have to deal with this every single year? And are you wanting more money? But here's the thing. And just being out in Denver and listening to Denver Sports Talk,
Wait, they stopped talking about the Broncos?
They slipped in a little Dion, but
Okay.
yeah, it was
Ooh.
all about Broncos because those people out there can't stop talking about the Chiefs, and I love it. We're in your head. Is they proposed and put a contract extension in front of Dion.
He said no.
He didn't say no.
Okay.
Must be the money.
But his verbal commitment to Colorado isn't matching the pen in his hand. Why?
So I don't want to misquote him, but I remember very infamously he was at there was a Jackson State huddle, and he was like, "Where do they have me going this week? Now I'm supposed to be the Nebraska head coach or somewhere along those lines." And he was basically stating his commitment to Jackson State at the time. Very little time went by. He ended up going to Colorado. So this whole idea that Dion is saying, well, I'm committed to Colorado, ever since that whole Jackson State, I don't want to call it a debacle, but ever since the kind of same song and dance happened at JSU, I don't really take that. I take that with a grain of salt, if you will. I do think, so back to your point, you're absolutely right. The guy hasn't done anything in college football without having the number one overall recruit in Travis Hunter and the top quarterback prospect in football in his son, Shedeur Sanders. Okay. So it is going to be a cycle of which it's going to be totally different. And he's going to have to completely reinvent his style of how he does things because he doesn't have those two guys. And you're right in the regard that maybe Colorado fans are a little bit like, look, man, we were 1-11 and you've come in here and we've been able to go to games. We've been able to enjoy the season. We've won. I mean, we went to a bowl game that meant something. We were ranked. We had the Heisman Trophy winner. Thank you. We enjoyed it. Now let's get back to, I don't want to call it a serious program, but a more traditional program. To Dion going to the NFL. Let's talk about that. I think it would work. I really do think Dion in the NFL could work. It's under two prerequisites, though. The first is, and I think this goes without saying, you need a veteran coaching staff. You need a veteran coaching staff, an expensive coaching staff that can help them with the week-to-week preparation, with the X's and O's.
Coaching.
Not that Dion doesn't know X's and O's, but someone that can help him along because he's more of a culture setter as an NFL coach than he is a schism guy. The second thing is, and this is maybe where this veers off, I don't think you can have either of the sons or Travis. Well, you can have Travis Hunter, but I don't think you can have either of the sons on the team that he coaches because that dad and son game, that my kid's the best player in the team game, that works in college because they look up to you. You're kind of a czar. You're kind of a king. In the NFL, it's a man-to-man relationship. It's a results league. It worked with Shedeur because Shedeur was the best player in Colorado. Shedeur on no roster is going to walk in and be the absolute best player. Okay. So when Dion starts favoring Shedeur, talking about Shedeur, having those interactions in front of those players with his son.
But what about his tone change on Dak Prescott? Find that interesting?
That's where I started to change my this might happen.
I am with you. He changed his tune on Dak Prescott. I wonder why. But
to move.
Here's what I think is going to happen with both of your teams. This is my outside observation. Remember, I just root for a team that Denver media call Captain Cheeseburger.
Jeez.
Cool what they did. Adam Teicher, who's been a longtime guest on this show.
Did they call Andy that?
Yeah, that's what they refer to.
Yeah.
Your buddy Sean Keeler yesterday in the Post referred to him as Captain Cheeseburger.
Oh,
but
the
Captain
state writer of the year in Colorado?
Captain Cheeseburger did a real cool thing yesterday. Adam Teicher is retiring.
Yeah.
And so they had a cheeseburger bar.
Oh.
Reminded me of Fuddruckers. Okay.
Rest in peace.
Back to both of your teams.
Now going to be a mega saver.
You want Ben Johnson. You want Dion.
I do.
But isn't this interesting how this might happen?
I want Ben
Now
Johnson.
I'm glad you said you kind of talked yourself into Big Mike would be okay.
I not talked myself in. I was always in.
But there's a lot
true.
There's a lot of your want is Ben Johnson. Your want is Dion.
Yes.
Are you guys prepared to go,
yes,
Kellen Moore?
Oh, no, just the
to Mike McCarthy. Now, yours is a little bit different, but to Jimmy's, because Kellen Moore, which is wild, if I'm an Eagle fan, I'm pissed because I'm trying to get ready to play the Rams, and my OC is probably going to go into a 6-7 hour interview.
Yeah.
Okay? And we're playing, up to this point, the most important game of our season. Don't say, well, they've been preparing for this. No, you're taking time away to prepare for a future job that you may not get. I need you to focus on my team. But if you get Kellen Moore and not Dion, you're going to be like, oh.
You don't think WIP radio is ripping into Kellen Moore right now?
They will no matter what.
It's not his fault, but it's kind of how the structure is set up in the NFL. But still,
that's one way to beat the Eagles.
Look at Kingsbury. He's like, you want me?
So I was going to say,
if you want me, you got to wait. We're still playing ball, y'all.
No, I mean
that I think I would want him.
Who, Kingsbury?
If that's I like that.
So that's my right now. My rankings are
your Ben
dark Johnson. I mean, obviously, like the Bears rankings and my rankings are different. I think I would have Kingsbury in front of McCarthy just because of the relationship that they had with Caleb Williams. But do you think Dion would work in Dallas?
No.
Okay.
There ain't no 30-year-old vets calling him Coach Prime.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think that style. That style in the NFL,
and apparently you have to hire Jason Witten.
That style in college is perfect.
Now, do you think he wouldn't change? You don't think he would adapt?
No.
Okay.
When has he changed?
It's a good point.
It's a whole different world, man.
You wear a suit and a fedora.
Like I said, Czar to villagers from man to man.
In college, you're still making more money than the players.
Yeah.
You would be paid a lot of money to be the head coach of the Cowboys, but you probably got a quarterback that makes more than you.
What do you mean probably? Definitely does. In his case, his quarterback is going to be probably making
Dak doesn't have his own TV show.
6 times, 7 times more than he will.
Colorado job be appealing if it opened up tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Appealing across college football.
I think, no, I agree that it would be appealing if you're looking at the long-term view of it. The short-term view of it, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of work to be done. You might have to have open tryouts in Boulder.
You would have chaos with your roster because that 30-day window would open. Oh. And can you imagine the domino effect across college football? Because there are...
I'm having a panic attack thinking
about it.
They
do have some dudes that any smart college football program in America has already scouted Colorado's roster.
Absolutely.
And they have a list of previous relationships or players that you would want that you would go all in on. It would be one of the best
Just tell me when.
Reality shows going is the exodus at Colorado post-Dion of what that would do to some college football rosters. Again, if I'm a GM of a college football program, I've already looked at Colorado's roster. I've already looked at North Carolina's roster.
Yeah, Lombardi said yesterday that he hasn't signed a contract to be the GM,
which is not
uncommon. Not uncommon. Trying to explain what the state's doing and whatnot.
But you have to be prepared. All of a sudden, a job opens up. Like let's take for example, what if something in the wild world of the NFL, the two guys that are coaching Monday night, one of them says, "I'm going to jump on it." It's the NFL now. Least likely would be Freeman. Most likely would be Day. I think both are would not happen. But you have to be prepared. You have to know.
Yes.
That's how.
Yes.
I
like that.
When I was with the Twins, they have a board in either their conference room or the GM's office that had the 40-man roster of every single major league team. And some would go even further of every guy in that team's organization. So they always knew what players were where. They'd had them scouted, and they knew if they had to make a trade, they already knew that guy. Boom.
Sure.
Same thing in college football, man. You got to know Colorado's roster.
I don't know with North Carolina, just because I'll say this, like it's been confirmed by Pelissero that Brady gave a call to Belichick.
Yeah.
And if there was that interest there, I think we'd be talking about it as Bill is very much a part of the Vegas Raiders head coach. He's interviewing whatever. It seems like the Raiders currently right now are all in on Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
Now let's see, because
that doesn't sound like as much of a fit though.
Why the hell would Ben Johnson say no to Washington a couple of years ago and then say yes to Vegas? What does Vegas have? Vegas doesn't have a quarterback.
Maybe Tom will tell us tomorrow night.
Maybe. Vegas doesn't have a quarterback. They don't have a high enough pick to really go out there and grab a Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. They don't have. I mean, they got 2 nice tight ends and a nice edge rusher, but they're a bad team for a reason. They got plenty of holes to fill there, and it's like you're just not. I mean, you're not going to be able to fill a roster in terms of playing to the style of Ben Johnson, right? I mean, that's the one thing about Ben Johnson that I think that what encourages me about him getting the Bears job is that he had Amon-Ra, he had Jahmyr Gibbs, he had David Montgomery, he had Sam Laporta. You look at the Bears roster, you still have Rome Odunze, Cole Kmet, DJ Moore, whatever. You have weapons to work with. When he goes to Vegas, what are the weapons? So Bowers and who? They traded Devontae.
Max Crosby's probably going to be a Bill. That'd suck.
Jeez.
When we come back,